The biggest profit maker today in a project is the government. People don't believe that a builder is making a loss. There's a always builder matlab chor hai.
What are the most common tax mistakes which you see or which you have heard that home buyers make?
Like I just told you, buy a house, claim a deduction, और एक साल के अंदर दूसरा घर और खरीद लेते हैं. Thought of tax benefits, I feel over a period of time has become farce. It's of no use. What is the tax benefit that you get? 1.5 lakh rupees. The deduction that you are getting in the old scheme, how attractive is it? So the myth about or the thought about, for deductions I want to take a house is no more there. I need a house and can I draw some benefit out of it is the only way that you can look at it there. I'll tell you what is the difficulty for a developer. When to sell, how much is the difficulty. So unless and until you plan that in the first 8 months I'm going to require so much of money, you sell only so much. Don't do anything which is only for saving taxes. Whatever that you want to do, you want to buy a house, you want to claim deduction, you want to claim exemption, whatever that you want to do. The tax benefit should be an added benefit. That should not be your goal.
Welcome to today's episode of Real Estate Journeys. Our today's guest is Mr. Neelesh Khandelwal. Mr. Khandelwal is a partner at Shah Khandelwal Jain Associates, a chartered accountant firm with over 50 years of legacy in Pune. They have a team of over 200 plus professionals serving hundreds of clients such as real estate developers, corporates and HNIs. Mr. Khandelwal specializes in taxation, audit, financial structuring and compliance, helping businesses stay clean and healthy over the long term. Join us as we explore the journey of Mr. Neelesh Khandelwal.
Hi Neelesh sir, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for coming on my podcast, and it's really an honor to have you here. Through your podcast, I really want to help the home buyers and developers out there to better understand the financial reforms which take place, and it would be an honor to learn from an experienced partner like you.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So, to understand your journey better, we usually start from the beginning of it. That is your childhood. So, could you tell where were you born and brought up?
Okay, so I was born in Ghorpadi, which is now part of Pune. Earlier it used to be called Ghorpadi Gaon. And that's where I was born. Till 3 years of my age, I was there. Then we shifted into a rented house at the end of Koregaon Park, which is now between lane 4 and lane 5 on South Main Road. So there used to be a small, we used to call it as a chal at that time. And there was a house over there, which one of the places my father had taken on rent. And that's where I grew up. From there, we shifted to a house in Agrasen Society, which is in Koregaon Park. And then somewhere in 2003, 2007, we shifted to Kalyani Nagar.
Okay.
Yes. And now I stay in Kalyani Nagar. And that's where, yes.
So, how was your journey like? Were you always, like, you are a second generation chartered accountant, right? So your father has been the founder of this firm.
Yes.
So did you always want to be a CA?
Oh, I never knew that I wanted to be a CA. It was, so I was the black sheep of the house, so to say. Study was never part of my plan, ever. It was more of flying kites, playing marbles, playing gilli danda. That was the best part of life, I thought, And I struggled to get through my finals always. That was the only exam that I passed in all subjects. Otherwise, I used to have a red line in some subject or the other. And later on, after my 12th standard, fortunately, at that time, they stopped accepting CA students. And they said that you have to complete your BCom and then you can enroll for CA. Because even after 12th, I was not sure of what is to be done. After my TY BCom, that's when I thought, what else will I do? everybody, all my friends have got into business. We don't have a business. If I have to do something over here, I'll have to qualify as a chartered accountant.
Yeah.
That's when I thought that I will do CA. Till then, I never had a thought that I'm going to get into this profession at all.
And once you got into it, how was it for you? Once you got into the college or preparation, do you think that it is right now the curriculum of chartered accountant is very tough compared to others or not?
It is one of the toughest exams in India. There is no question about it. And when somebody understands that a person who had struggled to pass all his units and passed through the finals and then got through one class to the other class, and after BCom I decided to do my CA. So it's really not, nobody knows what they are capable of unless and until they challenge themselves. And everybody has the capacity. It's just that you need to believe in yourself. I thought at that time, yes, why not? If others can do it, why can't I do it? And that's how I got into it. And I cleared, and I love what I'm doing. I never thought, my mother always keeps on telling me, तू स्कूल में नहीं पढ़ा, इसके लिए अब तुझे पढ़ना पड़ता है. So it's been very, very interesting. And I love what I'm doing. I love my profession. I look forward to go to office every day. I look forward to look at challenges that my clients face, and if I can find a resolution for them, it gives a immense sense of satisfaction.
Wow, that's really nice.
Yeah.
That your purpose is really aligned with you. So many a times it happens in generational businesses that from the first generation to the second, it is kind of an obligation to do the same. Now, as you progress to your next generation, would you want all your children or your partners to also join the same business?
When people think that, my father was a chartered accountant, so probably he must have said that you should do CA. Never ever my father told me that I should become a chartered accountant. Never ever. And when I said that I want to do CA, he never discouraged me. So why did I do CA? Why not a easier line? Or why not something else? Every day when we used to see my father come home, he used to come home late quite often. There was never a complaint. He said, oh, what a day I had in the office. It was fantastic. Now let's sit down. Let's sing some songs. Let's play some cards. Let's go out somewhere. Very enthusiastic because he had a fabulous day at the office. So in our mind, it got ingrained that this profession is beautiful. People do this and they enjoy themselves. He's loving what he's doing. So why not look at it? Our children are seeing the same thing. So my brother, who's a chartered accountant also, his daughter is a CA. His son is a lawyer. My daughter is a CA. My son is doing his CA. He's in CA final. And none of us have ever told our children that you should take up this profession. They've taken it up on their own. I don't know whether they'll continue in the profession. My girl is continuing in some way in the profession. My son is doing his final now. I don't know what he will do after he finishes. But yes, they took up the profession.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
That the legacy is going on.
Yes.
So from your first generation to the second, I think your company SKJ was founded in 1966.
Yes.
And when did you join the business?
I qualified as a chartered accountant in February 1996.
96.
Yes.
Okay. And then you immediately joined the business?
I did my articleship in my firm. So yes, I was part of the firm since 1993.
So after you and your brother, like you mentioned, when you both joined, what were the major changes or what was your vision at that time that you want to do for the firm?
Actually, my father was a doyen in the profession. He was very, very highly regarded by everyone around. And to think, when both of us qualified, it would have been very difficult for us to actually grow in the profession, because when the tree is very big, anything under the tree does not grow very well.
Yeah.
So, which means the leader had to give space, which he very ably gave, and he allowed us to choose what we want to do in the office. He gave us the independence to take decisions, and also he made us go through to face the mistakes that we made. He never came there to solve them. He said, you've chosen this path, you've done this, now go through it completely. Don't leave it there saying that now how do I get out of this. Complete the whole thing. So it really helped us grow as professionals. He gave us that space. So Ashish took up audit, I took up tax, and we were given enough independence and opportunities to really hone our skills in what we took up.
So, what were the various changes that the both of you brought in after you joined it compared to the first generation?
Started with revamping the whole office.
Okay.
So the first thing that we took up was renovating the office. So it was at that time one of the very good looking offices that was made. After that was getting in technology in the office. We brought in a lot of computerization and this and that. At that time it was not there so much. So there one Mr. Murali Jayaraman, he had implemented a lot of things. So we used to go to him, we used to understand what has he done, how has he implemented all various softwares in his office, learn that and try and implement it in our office. We also then thought of bringing in various methods of how to track your work, how to do the filing, how to do various those small things which will help build the firm in cutting off on routine tasks and concentrating more and more on what you would enjoy doing.
And any other divisions or departments which you added?
So a lot of divisions and departments that we added over a period of time. We were known as a tax firm, but over a period of time, today we have in tax, we would have international tax, we would have domestic tax, there would be corporate tax. Then in audit, we'll have internal audit, we will have statutory audit, you will have concurrent audit. So for internal audit and related matters, we have a separate partner. For statutory audit, we will have a separate partner. Then we added something like foreign trade policy. So helping our clients to avail all the benefits that are available under the foreign trade policy. Then we added a wing under RERA. So we are doing RERA compliances for our clients. We have a wealth division, which is helping about 450 families to grow their wealth, and we guide them in their wealth management. We have a separate team for that. We have a AUM of about 650 crore, which we are managing today. Then we have GST, the indirect tax team, which is also a very large team. We are doing all kinds of indirect tax work in that. So we have separate various partners looking after various verticals. And I mainly look after direct tax.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really nice, all the divisions. And it's not very common for a chartered accountant to start wealth management and other services as well. So that's really helpful, I think, for your clients for sure.
In fact, we also have an outsourcing division where we are doing outsourcing work. We have a company secretary who's doing compliances for all the clients.
Oh.
We have a lawyer sitting in the office for basic agreements where we require more intricate help. Then we go to larger law firms. The whole idea has been that once a client comes in, and if he has any requirement, can we really give him everything from this office? So that he does not have to go to 10 places. Today, doing business has become very, very complicated.
Yeah.
If I tell you that, listen, for doing so and so, you'll have to do this kind of a accounting. Once you start following that, immediately your GST consultant will say, listen, if you do this, you're going to be in trouble because your GST will be preponed, but you should have done it this way. Once you implement that, the third guy will say, but under law, under general law, under civil law, there is a problem because, while you do this, you are weak in that section by doing what you are doing in this manner. So we realize that a client actually, before taking a decision, has to go to 4-5 different places, and then he has to come to a conclusion whether I'm doing the right thing or not, because each time, like a carom board, he's going from one place to the other place before actually getting to know what he needs to do. So keeping that in mind, we kept on adding verticals so that on one table, 4 people are sitting, 4 specialists are sitting. We debate amongst ourselves. We come to a conclusion and then we tell him, okay, do this. So he's then taking more of a commercial decision rather than compliance decision.
Makes a lot of sense and is really helpful for sure. So one thing which I found really interesting about your company was that it is very rare for a family business to be offered by a company like EY. So EY had approached you. Can you tell the story about that?
So we were part of an alliance called BDO, and for whatever internal reasons, we parted ways with them. And once we parted ways, we were at that time, this was 2016. So we were about 130 people at that time, including our outsourcing wing and etc. And we had to give away a lot of work at that point of time because a lot of work went to BDO when we parted ways with them. At that point of time, many firms had approached us. Many firms had approached us to join hands with them. And one of the firms which had approached us was EY, asking whether the entire office wants to join them. So one of the conditions, while one of the partners had met me and told me that, listen, Neelesh, why don't you all think of joining EY? You are part of BDO. Now that you've moved out, you are welcome to join EY. Would you want to think about it? So we said, I went back to the office and I said, listen, apart from these 2-3 other firms that we have an offer from, EY has also offered us to join them. One of the conditions that we have told EY was that you should take over our entire office. Our peons should also find employment. To the top, whoever wants to join EY should be allowed to join EY, for which they were more than welcome. They said, yes, we appreciate what you're saying and we can do that. After various rounds of internal discussions, there was a group of people who felt that they should join EY. And me and my brother thought that we should continue our firm. So that is the day I very clearly remember. We called everyone. Everyone gathered in the office and we announced that there's a good news. EY has approached us and they have agreed to take over the entire firm. All of you all will find employment. Of course, all of you all will be interviewed and you all will be given a package. If you all like it, you all can take it. If you all don't, then your choice. But Ashish and me are not going. We are continuing over here. All the people in my team and Ashish's team have also an offer from EY. And everyone from the office can go, because EY will be paying you better than what we are paying you. So the choice is yours. And to our surprise, only the partners who were going out, some of their team members went with them. So there was a outflow of about 25-30 people who left. All the rest continued with the firm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you think, sir, there was that loyalty over a global firm like EY? What did you do to ensure that loyalty amongst people?
I really don't know what we did to ensure that there is loyalty amongst people to continue with us. Maybe the work culture of the firm was enjoyed by everybody. They liked the work that we did, and there was a good bonding. And they did not want to step into something new where we were not there. If probably we would have shifted, the entire team would have shifted. But the kind of enjoyment that we were having working together, they said that we'll grow with the firm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really nice, the culture you have inculcated in your firm. And clearly that means that employees, if they are enjoying their work, then that hence they stayed.
Maybe, yes. So they do say that they enjoyed the work culture, they enjoyed the independence, they enjoyed the kind of exposure that they were getting. They enjoyed all that.
Any specific perks that you have given them which you think may have led to them staying, or which really led to them, staying emotional to the company or any culture of your company?
I don't know what. It's a build up over a period of time. It's never something that is given uh, in a day or 2 days or 10 days. It starts from the beginning. There have been so many episodes, there have been so many things that everybody sees, everybody watches. So you grow up with that. And if you align with that thought process, then money is secondary. Because you know money is never going to be enough. So what else are you looking for? If all that balances out, you will not go here and there just for a little bit more or a little bit less.
Yeah. So we'll move over to the next segment, which is for home buyers, and how can some decisions really help them. So what are some basic tax benefits which can help a home buyer in India to look forward when purchasing a property?
These the thought of tax benefits, I feel over a period of time has become farce. It's of no use. What is the tax benefit that you get? 1.5 lakh rupees. For home buyers, there are certain deductions. Say under section 24, there is some interest deduction. Under section, which is still available, whether new scheme or old scheme. Okay. But when you get into the new scheme, your deductions are not available to you. Under the old scheme, there is a deduction of up to 1.5 lakh, which is available to you. The new scheme with the new rebate, 12 lakh tak tax ही नहीं भरना है. The deduction that you are getting in the old scheme, how attractive is it? So the myth about, or the thought about, for deductions, I want to take a house is no more there. I need a house, and can I draw some benefit out of it is the only way that you can look at. Now, when I need a house and I am trying to take some benefit, now the deductions available are for houses which are less than 50 lakh. Certain provisions which are there.
Okay.
Now, if I have to buy a first-time buyer, house value should be less than 50 lakh. There are certain stringent conditions. Now, when you're talking about a house below 50 lakh, what is the income of that person? Obviously below 12 lakh.
Hmm.
If a person who's earning more than 12 lakh will not buy a 50 lakh house today.
Yeah.
Today, eligibility for a loan is 60 to 72 times of your monthly income.
Hmm.
So if I'm getting an income of 1 lakh rupees, my eligibility is at least 60 lakh. I have a saving of 15 odd lakh further. I have a partner who's earning.
Hmm.
I'll buy a house which is minimum 75 lakh. So where is the deduction? If I am earning more than 12 lakh, then whether I will be in a new regime or the old regime, if I am in the old regime and I am availing 1.5 lakh rupees deduction, then again comparison whether tax rate where is lesser and where is more. So for deductions, buying a house is gone. It is only for capital gains exemption that a person may check, because that does not fall into whether old regime or new regime. I can still claim deduction for capital gains.
So could you explain what are the differences in the old regime to the new regime in this? For someone who say wants to buy a house for 50 lakhs and for someone who wants to buy a house of 1 CR.
So when you're buying a house of 1 CR, the deductions under that 80EE and 80EEA, those are not available if your house is more than 50 lakh rupees.
Okay.
So you are eligible only for the stamp duty deduction up to 1.5 lakh and repayment of loans.
What is the stamp duty deduction that you get?
Whatever stamp duty that you've paid will be allowed in the year the house is completed. And you will also get principal repayment of loan as deduction up to 1.5 lakh. Now, if I'm buying a 50 lakh house, 7 5s are 35. 3.5 lakh is my stamp duty. 1.5 lakh का आप deduction दे रहे हो और principal amount भी उसके अंदर ही आ गया लोन का. Now, if I exceed 12 lakh rupees income, my tax rate, if I'm below 12 lakh, and if my house is more than 50 lakh, I'm not eligible for all this. Now I'm eligible only for 1.5 lakh.
Yeah.
Why will I claim 1.5 lakh? Because up to 12 lakh, I have tax-free income.
Tax-free income.
So that is gone. Now you're looking at only section 24 deduction. If I put the house on rent, that interest income will be allowed as deduction to the extent of rent that I receive, and I can set off completely.
Okay.
So it's when you simply ask this question, how do you compare the two? It's not that simple. If you really want to know whether you're going to benefit anything, mota moti is what we've discussed. But unless and until you go to your tax consultant and tell him that, listen, this is what I'm doing, do you think it is beneficial under tax? He'll be able to tell you. My thought is that you buy a house today only if you need it. Don't go for large amount of tax planning unless and until it is a capital gain deduction where you sold a house and buying a new house and things like that.
So since we were talking about the various regimes, एक है old regime, दूसरा new regime जो आया है income tax का, आप mainly उन दोनों में क्या differences है? Could you explain?
So the tax rates are different in both the regimes, slabs rates, and in the new regime you can't claim chapter 6A deduction. मतलब ये जो 80C है, 80G, all those deductions cannot be claimed in the new regime.
Okay.
In the old regime, you can claim all those deductions. But the new rebate which has come, which is applicable to the new regime, up to 12 lakh of income, there is no tax.
Okay.
Whereas in the old regime, your tax starts from 2.5 lakh and it keeps on progressing. And but you are able to claim deductions.
So what was the deduction earlier for a home buyer?
For a home buyer in the old regime, you can claim, say, your stamp duty, your principal repayment of loan. All these were available as deductions up to 1.5 lakh, which is not available in the new regime.
Okay, so if I am, say, someone who has 15 lakhs income per annum and I want to buy a new house, then what are the various regimes which I can avail?
So if you are saying that what is the tax benefit that you can avail, if you are a 15 lakh rupee income earner and now you want to buy a house and you want to see what is it that you can avail.
Yeah.
If you are buying a house which is within that 45 lakh rupee bracket, then there are certain deductions which are available. But since you are a 15 lakh rupee income earner, 45 lakh is not the house that you will be looking at.
Yeah.
And the first time house, which has to be less than certain square meters, which has to be within 45 lakh. I don't think that is the budget that we are talking about. So a 15 lakh rupee income earner in the old regime could have claimed the stamp duty and the principal repayment of loan as deduction up to 1.5 lakh. But now interestingly, suppose, my income is 15 lakh rupees and I claim this deduction. So from 15, I'm coming to now 13.5. And in the new regime, I don't get this deduction. Right? Now on 13.5, what is my tax? From 2.5 lakh to 5 lakh, there is 5%. 5 lakh to 8 lakh or something, it is 20%. And more than that is 30%. In the new regime, I will be paying 30% tax only from 12 to 15, which is 3 lakh rupees on 3 lakh rupees. Now, if you compare the two, probably new regime is still better.
Despite the percentage being
higher. That being the case, should I buy a house to claim these deductions? I don't see that to be a tax saver.
Okay. And in the case of, say, husband and wife, if they are buying a house together, what are the tax benefits that they can avail?
Again, both of them can avail that 1.5 lakh, 1.5 lakh. So up to 3 lakh rupees, that deduction is available.
In the old regime?
In the old regime.
And in the new regime?
No deduction available.
Okay.
In the new regime, no deduction available.
Even if they take out a loan?
If you take out a loan, the interest payment that you are making, that will be available under section 24, provided, so there are two options. It's a self-occupied house or it is a house given on rent.
Okay.
If it is a self-occupied house, in the old regime, up to 2 lakh rupees, you get a deduction of interest, which can be set off against your other head income. So if you are having salary income, business income, you can set off this 2 lakh rupees, up to 2 lakh rupees interest, you can set off against the income that other income that you are earning. Suppose you have given that house on rent and that rental income is, say, 5 lakh rupees and the interest that you are paying is, say, 15 lakh rupees. So 5 lakh rupees you will get as set off, complete. Out of 10 lakh, in the old regime, you will get 2 lakh rupees as set off against other head.
Okay.
8 lakh you will have to carry forward. And that will be set off only against income from house property. And that carry forward is available only for 8 years.
Oh.
So, see, all this is a little complicated. But unless and until you do a full math, you really can't come to a conclusion whether investment for the purpose of deduction is good or not.
So if I am, say, like I mentioned, a husband and wife is there and they buy a house together.
Yeah.
They have around, say, 16 lakhs per annum income. So just from the interest benefit, will they be in the no tax bracket under the new regime? Because 2 lakh deduction.
16 lakh rupees. तो उनका दोनों का इनकम 14 लाख रुपया हो गया.
Total income 16.
Total income 16.
Yes.
Total income 16 मतलब 8 लाख रुपया इनकम है.
Yeah.
वैसे भी टैक्सेबल नहीं है न्यू रेजिम में. मैं क्यों लूं 4 लाख रुपए का डिडक्शन?
Very true. I would not avail for that.
Yeah. So unless and until your income is 14 lakh in the old regime, where you are getting a 2 lakh deduction, then I'm coming to 12 lakh. Then again, only in that case, I am saving on that 2 lakh rupees, that 30% tax. Provided my income is 14 lakh rupees.
Okay.
But in the, sorry, वो भी नहीं होगा क्योंकि ओल्ड रेजिम का टैक्सेशन 2.5 लाख रुपए के ऊपर से टैक्सेशन चालू हो जाएगा और इधर आप वो 12 और 14 2 लाख के ऊपर आप 30% पे कर रहे हो. Now you have to compare this 60,000 rupees tax payment versus 2.5 lakh. You are getting 2 lakh rupees further, 4.5 to 14.
Yeah.
वो slabs के हिसाब से क्या tax आता है? If it is exceeding 60,000, it makes no sense.
So, according to you, do you think it was a good decision to bring the new regime?
New regime has, we are seeing numbers. The finance minister has given numbers. Large number of taxpayers are getting benefit today under the new regime because 12 lakh tak ka tax ही नहीं है. A person who's earning 1 lakh rupees per annum is getting tax-free income at home, which is a good thing. No question. New regime is great.
That's nice. So, sir, could you explain the difference between short-term and long-term capital gains in real estate, and just explain to the audience firstly what is capital gains and when is it applicable?
If I have to get into the history of capital gains, the term itself says that it is a capital receipt. Income Tax Act is tax of income. There is a difference between income and capital receipt. So, really speaking, capital receipt was never taxable.
Achha.
So, they had to bring in a chapter which said capital gains. And now capital gains will also be deemed to be treated as income and it will be taxed. So, it has a different tax rate. It has a different chapter for showing tax rate. Now, what is capital gain? Capital gain is when your intention to procure anything for retention would be a capital asset. For example, I am a goldsmith. A goldsmith buys gold. For what? Trading. Will it be its capital asset? So if I have a jewelry piece lying in my shop for more than 2 years, can I say now you give me capital gains? Answer is no. Even if that stock is lying for 10 years, it will still remain as a business income. Because the intention at the time of buying was to do a trade.
Yes.
But if I buy an asset with the intention of investment, for example, FD, it is an asset with the intention of retaining it, or a share, or gold. Now, even if I sell it in 3 months' time, doesn't mean that I had bought it for trading. So the intention at the time of procurement of the asset determines whether it was a capital asset or a trading asset. To elaborate the example further, can a goldsmith invest in gold?
Yes.
Answer is yes. Now, how have you distinguished that a goldsmith who has bought gold, certain part is for trading and certain part is for investment? It is because when he bought that gold, he itemized it as investment on day one, saying that ये मेरे को trading के लिए नहीं खरीदना, ये मैं investment के लिए खरीद रहा हूँ. So your intention says what is a capital asset and what is a trading asset.
Okay.
Then a short-term asset is an asset which is held for less than 2 years, and long-term asset is an asset which is held for more than 2 years. I hope it is clear, or you have...
No, I understood. Now, could you give an example of, say, a property and explain to the audience, like, by an example, capital gain, how does it work? If I say first buy a house for 50 lakhs, then I sell it for 75 lakhs, or say for directly 1 crore after 3 years, and then I purchase another house using that 1 crore. So how much tax would I need to pay in that case?
So today, the tax rate for long-term capital gains is 12.5%. Is the tax rate.
Okay.
Now, when I bought a house which was, I think, prior to 2022. That's when the provisions changed. I'm not exactly sure of the dates.
Okay.
But prior to that, if any property is purchased, the individual or an HUF has an option of either indexing the cost and paying 20% on the difference, or 12.5% of the cost of acquisition, reduce it from the sale consideration, whatever is the difference, 12.5%. Whichever is less is the tax that he has to pay, an individual and HUF. Otherwise, everyone else, it is 12.5%. Only the cost is reduced. Indexation methodology is scrapped. Okay. Now, without getting into the controversy or the understanding of indexation and non-indexation, and assuming that 12.5% is what we are talking about, say I bought a property, a house, which I held for 2 years plus. I bought it for 1 crore. I sold it for 2 crores. 1 crore is my gain.
Yes.
On 1 crore, I'm supposed to pay 12.5% as tax. If I had held it for less than 2 years, on 1 crore, I would have paid the maximum margin, meaning as per slab. Whether I fall in 5% slab, 20% slab, 30% slab, I would have paid accordingly.
Okay. So, you mentioned indexation. Could you briefly explain what was indexation?
So, how the tax calculation was being done earlier was, suppose I bought a house prior to 2001 and post 2001. We'll take two scenarios. If I had bought a property, immobile property, prior to 2001, the rule is that I have to get a valuation done as on 1/4/2001, which cannot exceed the ready reckoner valuation. That valuation will be the cost, or the actual cost at which I have purchased, whichever is higher, will be the cost for me. That would be indexed. There was an index which was given for each year. Say the base year was 2001 is 100, then it would be 110, 116, 124, 130, 135. That way, each year, based on the inflation in the country, they had come out with an index. So if I sold a property, say in 2018, then whatever was the cost divided by 100, multiplied by the index value, the index of 2018 would become my new cost.
Okay.
And the difference would be taxed at 20%.
So that way the valuation of the property would be calculated.
Yes.
And
that was a very good method for immobile property, because people actually got benefit in it. By getting the tax rate down to 12.5%, there will be many instances that you've lost money.
How so?
So, for example, the index today would have been 384.
Okay.
I bought the property for 1 crore. I sold it for 3.5 crore. I would have got a loss of 34 lakh as per old regime.
Oh.
Right? But under the new regime, I have to pay 2.5 crore per tax. Under the old regime, what I mean is under the indexation rule, where 20% was the tax rate. But in the new rule, where indexation is not allowed.
And what duration are you calculating this by?
I bought it in 2001. Okay. So the fact is that I bought it in 2001 for 1 crore. I sold it in 2018 for 3.5 crore. If indexation was applicable, 2018, so it was applicable only.
Yes.
But if I take it in, say, 2026 now, where the index would have been 450, 1 crore का घर अगर मैं 4.25 crore में बेचता हूं in 2026, then there was no tax and I would have got a set off of loss in the future. Today, what does it say? that you can avail the indexation, so you don't have to pay tax, but the loss will not be allowed.
Oh,
There is a big
so there was capital loss as well, which you could
yes,
avail against your other capital
other
gains.
other capital gains.
So housing का housing में ही हो सकता है?
नहीं, capital gains is a large chapter.
Okay.
Gold, all capital assets are one class.
Okay. So what all is included in this?
Everything: jewelry, gold, jewelry, your ship, aircrafts, your house property, immobile properties, shares. Everything is included.
Okay. And is there in housing we were discussing? So, जैसे if someone wants to buy a new house, तो उसको पुराने घर के ऊपर कैसे capital जो gain है उसे avoid करना है. So, do you think it's a good decision to buy another house?
If you need a house, it is a very good decision. If you don't need a house, then there are many calculations that will come into it. So what I mean to say is कि मैंने कोई भी प्रॉपर्टी बेची, there are two deductions, 54 and 54F. 54 is when I sell a house, then capital gains need to be reinvested into a new house.
Yes. What is the time frame? Sorry to interrupt. What is the time frame?
The time frame is before filing of your return. You have to invest into the new house. If you have not invested into the new house before filing of, say for example, you sell the house in December 25.
Yes.
Your return date is say 31st July 26. So you have to buy the house before 31st July 26. If you don't buy the house before 31st July 26, you have to invest that into a capital gain scheme account.
Okay.
And then within 2 years, which means you sold it in December 25. So before December 27, you have to use that money in purchase of a new house. Or before December 28, you have to use that money to construct a new house.
So 3 years for constructing a new house, 2
and
years.
2 years for purchase of a ready-made house.
Okay. And anything before?
1 year before. So if I sold the house say in December 25, and if I've purchased any house after December 24 up to December 25, even that is eligible for deduction.
Okay.
But it is not as simple as we are talking, because there are conditions. You should not be owning more than one house. If it is any other asset, for sale of house and purchase of house, no problem. Sale of asset and purchase of house, there are other conditions. You cannot buy another house for the next 2 years.
Oh.
So there are conditions. While you do all, so there are people who claim the deduction under 54F. They are not aware that they are not supposed to buy one more house within 2 years. They find a good deal, or they are tempted to buy one more house. After 1 year, they buy one more house.
Yeah.
As soon as you buy that, the earlier deduction is gone. So when you are claiming deduction, speak to your consultant. Find out what you are supposed to adhere to in the future period and for how long. Then see whether it suits you. And then make a decision.
Any other conditions which the home buyer should be aware of?
No.
Mainly it's these. And is there a maximum cap on say capital gains in India?
More than 10 crore का अगर capital gains होता है, your deduction is restricted for within 10 crore. So if I have a house which I have sold for say 20 crore, I can reinvest into a house only up to 10 crore.
Okay. And the remaining amount you have to pay
I have
per
to
your
pay
slab.
tax. I have to pay tax. Not as per slab. If it is a long term, because the deduction is available only for long term assets. So it will be 12.5%.
Okay. And is for a first time buyer, how should they decide whether to buy a property? Say, should they buy individually or jointly? Which would we suggest?
If a first time buyer is looking at capital gain deduction, then first criteria is कि किसका capital gains बचाना है. अगर दोनों का capital gains है तो दोनों को इन्वेस्ट करना पड़ेगा. अगर एक ही का कैपिटल गेन्स है तो एक को इन्वेस्ट करना पड़ेगा. अगर कैपिटल गेन एक का है बट द वैल्यू इज लार्ज, देन बोथ कैन इन्वेस्ट, एंड देन यू कैन लुक एट द अदर डिडक्शंस वेदर दे मेक सेंस और नॉट. Section 24.
Okay.
So there are combinations depending on facts.
Okay. And what are the most common tax mistakes which you see or which you have heard that home buyers make?
Like I just told you, buy a house, claim a deduction और 1 साल के अंदर दूसरा घर और खरीद लेते हैं. तो जो पहला खरीदा है उसका डिडक्शन जा सकता है. Second mistake that happens is, what the section says is that you have to buy a house or construct a house within 3 years or buy a house within 2 years. Now, there are many judgments which say that I went to a builder. He said that I'll give you possession in 2 years' time.
Yes.
I made the full payment. So, from my end, I have completed everything.
Yes.
And these are provisions to give benefit to an individual. जैसे आपको घर लेना है ना, हमको आपको रोटी कपड़ा और मकान देना है, तो आपको हम डिडक्शन देना चाहते हैं. So if you've done your bit, you should get the deduction. For builder's fault, you should not be punished, is what the courts have been holding. Now RERA kicks in. I go to the builder. I take a letter from him that in 2 years' time he'll give me the delivery. But in RERA, he says that I'm going to take 5 years. Which means ये तो हम आपस की बात हो गई है. So you knew while buying that the house is going to take more than 2 years. Why should I give you deduction? So look at the RERA, in how much time it is going to be constructed. Take a undertaking. You upload your promissory note on RERA, because RERA, what does RERA say? That RERA says that you can make the rule better for somebody. You can't make it worse.
Yeah.
So if on RERA I've uploaded 5 years for everybody, but if you've promised me in 2 years, I can upload that in RERA and I can sue you if you don't give it to me in 2 years. Because you've bettered the conditions for me. You've not made me worse off. तुम 5 का 6 नहीं कर सकते हो, लेकिन 5 का 4 कर सकते हो, 5 का 3 कर सकते हो. But have I followed the full circle?
So you should always take an undertaking from your builder.
Yes. Take an undertaking and upload it. Tell him that you please notify the RERA authorities. Now, how easy or difficult that is, I'm not aware, but the rules provide for it.
So many buyers think if this project is approved by these banks, so it's safe. Do you
No,
think
not at
that's
all.
the case?
Not at all. See, banks are looking at what? Ultimately, they are giving loan not to the builder. They are giving you a loan. If you don't have the financials, they are not going to give you a loan. For them, that is a security. They have done their due diligence. But that does not mean that their due diligence is final. It's great. Whether the builder has the reputation to complete, whether the, what is the market condition. Suppose कोई builder का reputation है जो अच्छा reputation, लेकिन वो जहां बिल्डिंग बना रहा है उधर का एवरेज सेल हर कंस्ट्रक्शन का 30% के ऊपर होता ही नहीं है. आपका बिल्डिंग कंप्लीट होने वाला है क्या?
डिले हुएगा.
डिले ही होएगा. हाउ मच मनी कैन अ बिल्डर पुट? It is all coming out of sales only.
Yes.
So you have to do your due diligence. Yes, as far as title is concerned, you may be better off because the banks have done a thorough check. Your lawyer fees got saved for title check. But all other due diligences you have to do.
Sir, since you've been an auditor since so many years, when a real estate developer's file comes at your desk, what are the first things that you analyze in that file?
See, audit is a very, very different process as compared to tax, right? Now, whenever we are looking at a developer's financials, 2-3 points which need to be seen is what is the method of accounting that he's adopted. There are different method of accountings that are available for a developer to declare their profits. And accordingly they pay taxes. So when we look at a developer's books, there are 2-3 things that need to be compared. Number one is whether, as per RERA, in RERA today, a developer has to upload what is the completion that he's done.
Yes.
He has to give the cost and he has to show how much has he spent against that cost. So as per RERA, if his completion is 80%, in the books is he showing 80% completion? If he is not, now there can be a difference in this. What is the difference? That if I have to make road, if I have to beautify the place, all this is not construction cost.
Yeah.
So that may not be in the RERA. So, but for me, completion is when everything is done. The road, the beautification, the gym, all that. So, a reconciliation needs to be done to see as per RERA how much is completed, as per books how much is completed, and why is there a difference. This is one of the key issues that is verified when the books are seen. The other is how much, whether the project is going to be in a profit or a loss, because you can see what is the loan availed, what is the future sale which is available, what is the stock that they are carrying, what is the interest rate that they are paying, what is the debt, how much equity they have put in. So we know the health of the project. That's what we check, whether the project is healthy. If the project is not healthy, then we have a discussion with our client that, listen, there seems to be a problem over here. Unless and until ABC is done, say you have to put in more equity, you have to reduce your debt, or you have to increase your sale, even if it is at a discounted price. But make your books healthy. Otherwise, this project can die. These are the kind of things that we try to see, analyze, and tell the client.
Have there been instances of various red flags which have come to you? So in your viewpoint, when you analyze it, what are some big red flags in a developer's books?
So let me tell you, the planning of the project, even for a developer, starts before the project starts. So you have to go to your consultant even before you start undertaking the project. To give you an example, one of our clients had come to us and he had thought that the project is viable, it's going to make good money. And he said that, though I have a gut feeling that this project is going to make money, please give me numbers. I want to understand with numbers. We will do a projection for the next 5 years. And I want to understand with numbers whether I'm going to make money or not. Because of the manner in which the agreement was being executed, the tax liability and the GST liability was getting preponed. Because of that preponement, the money requirement in the project was higher in the initial phase. Because of which, the interest cost would have been more and the project would have actually made a loss. Though number-wise, prima facie, it was looking that it is a profitable project. So then we came to a conclusion that this cannot be done in this way. It has to be done in another way to make it efficient. The landowner was not ready. Ultimately, the project was abandoned. He did not take it up. But this is the kind of detailing that a person needs to do, because there are many permutation combinations. Unless and until a developer puts his mind to understand when is my tax liability, what is my stamp duty liability, what is my GST liability, when do I have to pay it, when do I have to procure the TDR, when do I have to pay the compensation. If these timelines are not plotted, your project could face a huge problem. And the smallest of financial crunch then makes you take expensive loans. Again, that throws the project out of gear.
So just some tax liability or GST and not planning of it before the project can really affect
the
viability of the project.
The biggest profit maker today in a project is the government. any project, you look at stamp duty 7%, you look at GST 18%. If you earn income from the project, 30% tax, 36% tax. The buyer who's buying the flat is paying stamp duty again. So when I am buying the land, I'm paying stamp duty. Then I'm paying GST. Then the person who's buying from me is again paying stamp duty.
Yeah.
If you total up everything, plus I'm paying for premiums, I'm paying for TDR, I'm paying for permissions, I'm paying for everything. 30 to 40% is the margin of the government in a project. As a customer, you think, why is the project so expensive? Earlier, a builder could sell in Kharadi at 1,000 rupees a square foot. Today, the land cost is 6,000 rupees a square foot. How?
Yeah.
Where have we reached? How do we? It's too expensive, and people don't believe that that a builder is making a loss. There's a always builder matlab chor hai. This is the thought, which is so sad. Here is an industry who is employing to the most uneducated. The only industry which is doing that. Industry which is helping all infrastructure companies, cement, steel, सब कुछ उधर ही यूज होता है. सबसे ज्यादा स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को पैसा मिलता है रियल एस्टेट से, लेकिन चोर कौन है? डेवलपर है. Which is sad. That's not the truth. There are many places where, see, he's taking big risk. So at places he's making big money. One project failure, one project, his entire earning is gone.
Yeah. Very, very true.
To give you an example,
5 years at least.
Now, what is the real income that a developer earns? When you sell something, and if you're a trader, obviously you have to buy something so that you can sell it again. आज अगर मैंने कुछ बेचा है इधर 15,000 रुपये में, जो मुझे नेक्स्ट जमीन मिलने वाली है ना, वो 15,000 से मिलने वाली है. तो जो भी मैंने कमाया है वो नेक्स्ट जमीन में लग गया है. Unless and until as a developer, I'm carving out certain income and putting it somewhere else, someday I'm going to fall, and I'm going to fall big time. Because my replacement value is the current market value.
Very true, sir. But it felt nice that किसी ने कभी builders के लिए भी कुछ अच्छा भी बोला.
हम लोग बहुत builders के साथ काम करते हैं और हम बहुत buyers के साथ भी काम करते हैं. But it's not, see, one black sheep cannot be taken as the example for everybody.
Exactly. So talking about builders itself, so for a developer, what are the various financial matrices or things that he should analyze to have a healthy, say, books, or which he should track regularly?
So the biggest see, today the margins, one small delay in collection, delay in meaning early payment, all this eats up your margin. And if the project is healthy, if the project is making money, the customer is 100% going to get delivery. So all of us should pray that the builder makes money. Because if he's making money, you're going to get delivery. You bargain your best rate, no question about it. But the builder has to make money if the project has to be successful. Otherwise, he'll abandon it. So, timely collection of money. If there is, 10%, 15%, 30%, all that is given. Now, a builder cannot, once say, if I'm a builder and I send you a note saying that you have to pay me so much because so much is completed, rest assured, it is going to go in RERA account. Unless and until I spend that money for construction, I can't withdraw it.
Yeah.
So it's not that he's taking the 30% is available to him. In that 30%, he has to do his admin cost. He has to do his advertisement. He has to pay taxes. He has to do everything else in that 30%. So your money is safe. As a customer, your money is safe. If the builder collects money in time, in proper installments, that's one of the key things that he should be concentrating on. Then, unless and until I get a discount on prepayment, if I'm purchasing material, I should adhere to timelines. Because all these small things add up to my net margin. And here is one industry which is completely dependent on the timelines decided by the government. आपको परमिशन नहीं मिला टाइम से, प्रोजेक्ट डिले हो गया. आपका ईसी नहीं हुआ टाइम से, प्रोजेक्ट डिले हो गया. You are so dependent on permissions, and rightly so. I'm not saying that anything wrong in it. Rightly so, they have to take permissions, otherwise things can go out of hand. But there are too many moving parts. So he has to be really careful on his agencies where these timelines are adhered to. Okay, timely, I have taken the permissions. In time, as soon as the permission has come, I have done things. If I don't follow the norm, now we've seen cases earlier, now so it has reduced dramatically. कि क्या पेनल्टी लगेगा ना, 2 फ्लोर बना देते हैं. And then penalty comes in. Then stop work comes in. Project is delayed. Viability is gone. So adhering to timelines, adhering to statutory requirements is what a builder really needs to concentrate on.
And any financial metrics which he should see or keep analyzing, say some cash flow from time to time or something specific like that, which is important for a developer according to you?
I'll tell you what is the difficulty for a developer. When to sell how much is a difficulty. So unless and until you plan that in the first 8 months I'm going to require so much of money, you sell only so much. Even if you have customers for all 100%. Why do I say that? Is because when I sell today, my sale price is fixed.
Yeah.
But my cost is not fixed. My cost can go up. If I've sold everything today and I required only 30% of that today, why did I sell everything today? Because if the cost goes up, my price is bound to go up. So timing of sales is extremely important. Of when I should sell how much. But the risk, again, in a builder's mind or anybody's mind is, today I have the market, tomorrow will I have the market?
Yeah.
But that's the risk that they are dealing with. Because even if you do a fixed contract, okay, I'm going to pay so much to a contractor, there is still a clause that if it goes up by so much, we are going to renegotiate. A contractor will stop working. इसे मैं लॉस में क्यों काम करूंगा?
So which one do you think is more important for a developer, profit or cash flow?
Cash flow is very important. If my cash flow is managed properly, profit is the after effect. Is ultimately I am going to get that.
And how often should I?
Because profit is decided before I start the project. I've done all that. After that is cash flow management.
How often should I keep checking my cash flow if I am a real estate developer?
Regularly. You need to have a good financial consultant with you. If you are a large real estate developer, now most of the real estate developers that we are seeing, they have 2-3 chartered accountants in their team. Because without them, analysis is not possible.
Very true. have you seen any cases of projects being profitable on paper yet actually in losses?
Many.
Why does that happen?
Again, cash flow management, not delivering in time, overselling.
Overselling.
Yeah, you sold everything on day one and the price, your input cost went up.
But won't you be saving the interest cost as well?
मेरे बैंक में पैसा पड़ा है, क्या इंटरेस्ट क्या करूं? बैंक में मुझे देता है 4% इंटरेस्ट, करंट अकाउंट को 0% इंटरेस्ट, और मेरा रेरा में पड़ा है पैसा, मैं निकाल ही नहीं सकता हूं, करूं क्या उसका? और होल्डिंग ऑन द इन्वेंट्री फॉर टू लॉन्ग, दैट ऑल्सो क्रिएट्स अ लॉस.
In that case, the interest cost gets higher.
Title problems, that has put projects on the back foot.
Especially in Pune, I feel. So, coming to GST, sir, with GST input not being applicable, or developers cannot claim it anymore. So, what impact has that had on project economics?
So when you say input credit is not available, you are specifically talking about residential houses.
Yes,
Because in commercial, input is available. But in residential, see, what happened was, when GST came in, it was the builders who created a hue and cry, saying that 18% is too high, nobody is going to come to us, this, that, you have to reduce the rate of GST. What did the government do? The government said that normally when you collect 18%, 12% is what you get as input credit. So 5% is still what you have to pay to the government. Right? So अभी हम सीधा client के ऊपर 5% लगा देंगे if the building is under construction. So they have done their own mathematics to say what is the credit that you would have availed. So they have given you the credit on day one for the input, and they've asked you to collect 5% only.
Now, is that a win-win or a win-loss for a developer? क्योंकि हमें तो, if a developer is there, he has to pay 5%, he has to collect from the home buyer. Along with that, he has to pay 18% to the contractor.
See, I would think that the question is whether it is a win-win or a win-loss for the customer. GST today is not on the developer. All GST, whether आप बिस्किट खाओ, whether आप घूमने के लिए जाओ, अगर आप एसी खरीदो या आप घर खरीदो, कौन पे करता है GST? The ultimate consumer. So it is a cost for the ultimate consumer, not for the builder. Builder is going to pass that on. It's embedded in your cost.
So for a developer, if you calculate, would it have made more sense to 18% के साथ input जो मिलता था credit versus the direct 5%? Which math do you think makes more sense?
Depends from city to city, place to place.
Okay.
For example, if it is a city, if it is a place like, say, Nagar, Ahmednagar, okay, Sambhaji Nagar now. If the land cost over there is less and the construction cost is more, input credit makes sense. Now you go to Bombay, land cost is 80% and आपका construction is only 20%. अब आप 80% पे 5% पे कर रहे हो,
Yeah.
जो लगना ही नहीं चाहिए था. आप लैंड पे GST पे कर रहे हो. So all metropolitan, where the land cost is very high, GST is a big problem.
So the new 5% is better for in at least metro cities.
If they would have given input credit and all, see, GST, if they remove from land portion, they give a ratio.
Yeah.
That so much ratio is for land which we will not levy, and we'll levy on the rest, it will become affordable for everybody. Place like Bombay, where 80% is land cost and GST is on the full value, it's very high.
Any common misunderstandings which developers have about GST?
See, there was a time when the developers thought that on TDR there is no GST and things like that. All that clarity has come. Now, on lease, on TDR, there is clarity on GST now.
Okay.
So, now I don't think developers have much doubt about GST. They are pretty clear and they consider that while making the projects.
Now we come to structuring and what a developer should do. So from a tax and audit perspective, which is the most suitable entity structure for a developer who is, say, starting out? Is it proprietorship? Is it partnership, LLP, or private limited?
So very, very large question, very, very... see, what happens is the type of entity that a developer should work in depends on the largeness of the project or his vision of where he wants to reach. Say, for example, you have a piece of land and you've decided that I want to construct one building. मुझे नीचे शॉप्स करनी है, मुझे 2 घर करने हैं और ये सब खर्चा निकालने के लिए ऊपर के मैं 2 फ्लोर बेचने वाला हूँ. Would you take it in a private limited? Answer is no. Because this is a one-off project. But if you are saying that no, now this is I want to grow this to 1,000 crore turnover per annum. Private limited. Because now you're looking at bank being interested in you, people investing in you, so many other things that will come into play. Say, if you don't want to avail any external finance and you want a lot of flexibility with the money that you're earning, you'll say, I don't want private limited. I'll make a LLP. But LLP will be good only till a mid-size operation. As soon as the operation becomes large, the tax saving in a private limited is too high. So it depends on the quantum of operation that you're looking at and your vision. Today, when people ask us, we say that if you are ready to do compliance and if your vision is to grow your business, then private limited is the way that you should move ahead.
But in private limited, there comes certain restrictions, right? In terms of, say, borrowing.
100% there are restrictions.
Because you cannot borrow from, you have to borrow from an NBFC or a bank.
Correct.
You cannot influx capital at any point of time.
Correct.
So
that's why your vision matters. Now, there are people who have multiple LLPs and multiple SPVs. If there are multiple projects, you may not be able to do in a private limited. Because you don't want your private limited to be involved with multiple parties. So in that case, then they are made into separate SPVs, special purpose vehicles, which could be LLPs. But it all depends on how you want to manage your funds and affairs.
So for someone starting out with a small project,
start as a proprietor or a partnership firm.
And later move on to?
Later move on.
At what threshold? Is there an example?
If you are looking at a 400-500 crore turnover per annum, move on to a private limited.
Before that, you would suggest someone to go for...
You are still testing waters. Because to do away with a private limited or to remove money from there is not easy. If you want to wind up your business, very tough in a private limited. If you have a vision of continuously doing this business and growing in the private limited, then a private limited makes
And at
sense.
what scale would you suggest going public limited?
See, today, for doing a public limited company, unless and until, people are going on, the
SME
or...
IPOs
yes. So, there will not be interest for people to do this unless and until you have, say, at least 15 to 20 crore profit per annum and 100 crore turnover per annum minimum. There will not be much interest generated otherwise. And you may not even be able to spend for the compliances. To create a team to do the compliance, there are a lot of compliances that are required. So unless and until you have a basic threshold income, why would you want to spend so much? You're getting on a treadmill once you are in the public domain. You have to keep on running.
Very true. So, sir, how does income tax influence the choice of entity, and what are the various factors which a developer should analyze?
See, when you're an individual proprietor, your tax rate is maximum marginal, which can go up to 39-40%. As soon as you shift into a partnership firm, LLP, the tax rate would come down to about 35%. As soon as you shift to a private limited company, it would come to about 24%. So the jump from a proprietor to a private limited company is too large. What is the disadvantage? Disadvantage is, as soon as I make money in private limited and I distribute it as dividend in the hands of the shareholders, the shareholder again has to pay tax.
30% another.
So the effective tax rate goes up. So if a developer has in mind that I don't want to keep anything in the private limited, I want to remove all the money, then he should not have a private limited. Then he should work as a LLP or a partnership firm or as a proprietor. As soon as you are a private limited, your growth will happen in private limited, because now imagine 35% जो आप टैक्स भरने वाले थे, आप 24% भर रहे हो. There is a straight saving of 11%. The compounding effect of 11% is very high. So your money accrual is much larger in a private limited. Plus the loans that you can avail, you get it at a better interest rate if it is a corporate body. Now, if I'm a proprietor versus a partnership firm, in a partnership firm, I have more than one person as my partner. Chances of litigation. As a proprietor, I decide what is to be done. I don't have to worry about anything. If I want to shut down business, overnight I can shut it. Private LLP, I will have to go for dissolution. There is a process involved. So these are the differentiations and while making a decision.
Which everyone should consider. So for a, say, mid-sized developer or a small developer, which one would you recommend the best?
A mid-sized developer, see, a person who intends to continue this business regularly and is having a good profit accrual, which is not required by him. Say, for example, I earn an income, say, of 20 lakh rupees per annum. और मेरा रिक्वायरमेंट ही 10 लाख रुपए का, जो मुझे कहीं खर्चा करना है, एजुकेशन है, XYZ things are there, which means I require a withdrawal of at least 10 lakh rupees. If I do a private limited, it's a waste. But if my income is, say, 5 crore, my requirement is only 20 lakh, then private limited is a no-brainer. I'll take remuneration of 20 lakh. I'll accumulate all the money in private limited and I'll grow it over there.
So many these days, I've seen and heard that many developers are going to various foreign countries like UAE and setting up, their companies over there. So what are some of the biggest mistakes which they make because they think कि वहाँ जाएंगे तो tax बचेगा. So what are the various biggest mistakes which you have seen that they tend to make?
So the first and foremost thing is, no decision should be taken only for the purpose of tax. Tax could be one of the criteria to be considered, but it will be stupidity if you are doing only for saving tax. क्योंकि आप पैसा बनाओगे तब टैक्स भरोगे. Now, the mistakes that a person does is there is strict compliance in India for declaration of foreign assets. If you don't declare those foreign assets, even if you are earning zero from there, even if it is from official sources, there is a penalty of 10 lakh rupees for non-disclosure of foreign assets. What is a foreign asset? Your bank account is a foreign asset. Your advance is a foreign asset. Your investment is a foreign asset. Your interest in anything directly, indirectly is a foreign asset. The criteria is given in the income tax form. So if you are a resident Indian who is having any interest outside India and it is not declared in your return, there is a penalty of 10 lakh under the Black Money Act. If you are transferring money out of India, there are FEMA compliances that are to be done. So if I'm saying that I'm transferring money for upkeep of my relative outside India, and I go and buy a property out of that, it's actually a FEMA non-compliance. You're supposed to bring that money back and resend the money for the use that you intend to do. Each time that you're sending money out, you're sending a declaration to the government. You have to use the money as per that declaration. People take it lightly. If you take it lightly, you're going to face the music. So, plus, now, if I am doing a business venture outside India, there are different kind of declarations. If I'm doing my personal investment outside India, there is a different kind of declaration. Now, when I am doing a business venture outside India, if I'm sending money in my individual capacity, there is a restriction. If I'm sending it through a corporate body over here, I can send 4 times my net worth.
Okay.
So the money that I can send abroad is much more if I'm doing it through a business entity, a corporate body.
And otherwise, for individual, it is?
There is $250,000 or there is now $1 million. Some kind of restriction is there.
Does it differ country to country?
No.
Just outside
It's India limit. The government has decided this is the limit.
So there should be a corporate, or do you need to have an office, a company over there, or is it that you need to have a company here to send outside?
No. An individual can send. For individual, there are separate limits. If a corporate body is sending for the purpose of business, then there is a separate limit. Like I said, 4 times of your net worth. So if my net worth in the corporate body in India is say $1 million, I can send out $4 million.
Okay.
Which cannot happen in individual. Individual, it is not on net worth.
Okay.
It's a fixed value.
So what are some other mistakes which you have seen when people try? Because firstly, they think कि नहीं आपने जैसे बोला tax बचाएंगे हम, we'll save that 30%, we'll try to set up a
other
company.
big thing that there are 3 for under income tax especially. एक तो FEMA का हो गया, compliances. Second is, like I said, under income tax, under the Black Money Act, you have to declare all your foreign assets. Under Income Tax Act, there are 2 specific provisions. One is the transfer pricing, and the second is place of effective management. What happens is you send the money abroad, you set up a company abroad, but you control the company from India. Once you control the company from India, as per Indian law, that tax has to be paid in India because you are effectively running the business from India. You're not running it from UAE. So unless and until you have a professional team, or if you have somebody who's gone there and settled over there to do that business, then the income is not attracted to tax in India. It's not that कि आपने चालू कर दिया और अभी वो टैक्स फ्री हो गया. नहीं, उसका place of effective management कहाँ है? That's where it is going to be taxed.
So just like this, not just outside India business, but what are some common audit or compliance mistakes which you see developers making?
For foreign entities,
No, just in general.
there are many compliances that a developer has to do.
Yeah.
For example, he has to file his GST returns, TDS. So while I'm making payments to various people, there are TDS provisions that I have to adhere to.
Yes.
Those TDS sometimes are missed out. Similarly, the developer takes up responsibility on behalf of the customer to pay his TDS. That is another big problem. You can become a guide, but you can't take that responsibility because the penalties, the interest, it is too heavy.
Yeah.
And the responsibility is onerous. कुछ भी मिस्टेक हो गया, वो कस्टमर आपके पास आने वाला है कि आपने किया था, मुझे मत बताइए, अभी आप ही पे कीजिए.
Every month you need to pay, or you can
Every
pay it.
installment. If I've made an agreement, on
Yeah.
the agreement date that 1% TDS has to be paid. That is to be paid by the customer. But the developer takes up the responsibility.
Any other?
When the project is completed, it is a residential project. Reverse charge में हमको GST भरना है. That calculation, that money being available to pay it on reverse charge, that money management, all that has to be considered by the developer. कि मेरा अभी completion कब आने वाला है? Completion के समय मेरा सेल unsold inventory कितना रहेगा? Unsold inventory के हिसाब से मेरा tax क्या आने वाला है? Am I prepared? Do I have the financials to pay that tax? Have I kept that money ready?
ये सब चीजें नहीं सोचते usually.
ये छूट जाता है. ये सब छूट जाता है.
And what do you think is the long-term impact? What do you think is the long-term impact of black money? So बहुत बार सोचते हैं शॉर्ट टर्म में पैसा बचा देंगे, but do you think black money कलेक्ट करने से या उसमें काम करने से what are the various long-term impacts which a developer
Today,
faces?
the utility of black money has reduced dramatically.
Yeah.
आज सब्जी वाले के पास जाओ, वो बोलता है सर फोन पे कर दो. ये छुट्टा ही नहीं है किसी के पास. एवरीथिंग इज थ्रू द बैंक. लोगों के कैश विड्रॉल मिनिमल हो गए. कोई एटीएम में से पैसा कब निकाला है लास्ट किसको याद नहीं है, क्यों सब कुछ ऑनलाइन पेमेंट होता है. पेपर वाला, दूध वाला, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, टेलीफोन, सब्जी वाला, दवाई वाला, सब कुछ. एवरीबडी इज टेकिंग ऑनलाइन पेमेंट. कैश का करने क्या वाला? और कितना काम में आता है कैश? टुडे इफ आई हैव टू बाय एनीथिंग, एवरीथिंग इज बाय रेडी रेकनर. There is hardly, meaning people, and the potency of the money is lost. If you have money in bank and if you can put it in various assets, it can increase the value. Cash lying at home, where is the potency? A person may say नहीं सर, हम तो बाहर इंटरेस्ट पे दे सकते हैं. पैसा आता है क्या वापस से? आप पूछ लो जिन्होंने दिया है बाहर, आता ही नहीं है. बोलते सर उसने तो उड़ा दिया, उसका तो डब्बा गोल हो गया, वो तो अभी पैसा रिटर्न नहीं कर रहा है. People have given check money to private parties. The biggest unfortunate incident in Pune has been DSK. With all the good intentions, the man could not repay.
Yeah.
And who lost out? Auto rickshaw person. So, potency of white money is very high, as compared to any other mode of money. So, utility depends from person to person. In my eyes, not much.
एंड कंपनी के ऊपर क्या क्या इफेक्ट होता है ऐसे, इफ मैं ज्यादा इनकम ब्लैक में दिखा रहा हूँ, इफ पीपल डू दैट?
अगर कोई कंपनी कैश का इनकम ज्यादा कर रही है, इसका मतलब उनका वो लोग बॉटम लाइन बुक्स में इफेक्ट कर रहे हैं. माय एबिलिटी टू रेज फाइनेंस, माय एबिलिटी टू अट्रैक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट, माय एबिलिटी टू बाय प्रोजेक्ट्स,
Very true.
all that is reduced. Today, if I have to bid somewhere, they call for financials. Say, इसमें तो दम ही नहीं है. So today, financials are not for an individual. Financial is a public document. It's your blood report. It's your, full body checkup, which is going to be viewed by everybody. ये आदमी हेल्दी है या नहीं है, इसको ब्लड प्रेशर है, इसको शुगर है, इसको लड़की मत दो भाई, इसको बहुत बीमारी है.
So, just as we are coming towards the end of the podcast, firstly, I wanted to ask you that if there is a young developer out there, what are the top 3 financial or tax related advices which you would tell him?
Number one, never ever get into a project without understanding start to finish. Number two, get a very good advisor before you start anything.
For the feasibility?
For everything. Compliance, feasibility, everything. क्या होता है, हम लोग जब नए शुरू करते हैं ना, हम बोलते हैं इतना खर्चा नहीं कर सकता हूँ. I've just started. How can I spend so much? If I spend so much, what will I earn? It's starting on a wrong foot. If you think you cannot afford, make him a partner in your profit with a minimal fee. Do something, but get a good one on board so that you're on track. So you need a good plan, you need a good team, and you need a clear vision. For what am I doing this? What is my short-term goal? What is my medium-term goal? What is my long-term goal? And every step that I'm taking, whether it is taking me there.
Very, very true. What is one habit which you've seen some financially disciplined developers, which they always adhere to?
So there are a few developers that I see who have a fantastic control on their finance. As much as a person needs control on execution. See, when you are a developer, obviously you know your job well.
Yeah.
You're a developer because you know development. But a developer who has a fabulous control on finance is a very successful developer. He will negotiate the best rates. He will get the best price. He will collect the money at the right time. He will have a check on the bottom line continuously. He will have an eye on the price changes continuously. Very good financial control. All financial compliance is done because I can't allow leakage. So developer multiplied by very good financial control, 100% successful.
Cash flow is the name of the game, I feel.
Cash flow is just one part of it. When I say financial control, entire gamut comes in. My compliance comes in because I can't pay penalties. Yeah. Why have you paid this penalty? Why has it exceeded the budget? If I had decided on a budget, have I done the analysis कि मैंने सोचा था कि ये मेरा 3200 रुपया स्क्वायर फीट, 3,200 रुपीज अ स्क्वायर फीट में ये मेरा काम होने वाला है. अब मेरा 60% प्रोजेक्ट हो गया है और मेरा 2,500 रुपया खर्चा हो गया. Why has it happened? What has gone wrong? Why have I allowed it to happen like this? हम लोग क्या करते हैं एंड ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट, अरे यार ये तो ओवरशूट हो गया.
Apart from developers, how can say even home buyers or developers, both of them, they stay updated on the various tax reforms or what are going on?
See, there are continuous changes that happen in taxes. As far as the home buyer is concerned, when you're buying a house or you're buying any property, just have a small chat with your consultant that I plan to do this. Is there anything that I should be taking care of? Because it
Okay.
is a one-off transaction for you.
Yeah.
For a developer, there is normally all the good developers either have a financial controller or a CF or a CEO or they themselves have every quarterly, every monthly, every 6 monthly, they meet their consultants. They just update them on what is happening, what has happened in various projects, and what is it that they should be now aware of what is coming up. There's so many developers that we just meet over a cup of coffee. That's a fixed plan that every 2 months we have to meet. For what? Just to have a cup of coffee. Then in that, obviously, when we are meeting somebody, you're going to discuss. And in that discussion, they just get their download. They just update themselves on what is happening. They ask their questions. They understand what is the new thing that is coming up. What do they need to be careful about? And they then check it with their team, whether all this is happening.
So, as you are sitting here, any recent upcoming changes in income tax or anything which you think are going to come or affect?
So, all the changes that have come up, if you see in the last 3-4 years, there have been minor changes only. And the changes are mostly compliance related. So, if say earlier it was TDS to be done on X transactions only, now it will be X plus Y plus Z to track transactions. If you look at the AIS, TIS which is coming today, whether or not you report a property transaction, so many people say, oh, गांव में खरीदा है, कोई देखेगा नहीं. कुछ नहीं है. सब कुछ आता है आपके पोर्टल पे. So, today, we are going to reach a stage soon where everything will be auto-populated. Your income will be auto-populated. All your expenses will be auto-populated. कि आपका income 5,000 रुपया आपने 7,000 रुपया खर्चा कैसे किया? What are you showing in your books? Everything is going to be auto-populated. That's the future that we are looking at. And that's not far away. The kind of information that the department has today, they just need good tools to get everything together. You will not know as much as the department knows about you. That's the stage that we are going to reach.
Any final financial advice which you would like to give for, say, anyone who is a home buyer or to, someone just wants to keep their finances in control?
The most important thing that a person should keep in mind is that don't do anything which is only for saving taxes. Whatever that you want to do, you want to buy a house, you want to claim deduction, you want to claim exemption, you want whatever that you want to do. The tax benefit should be an added benefit. That should not be your goal. So while you want to do something, find out how can it be done better to have more tax efficiency. Don't do it because it is going to save you tax. Because we see many clients, many home buyers who say हम लोग घर खरीद रहे हैं क्योंकि हमको टैक्स बचाना है. Bad plan.
We'll be going to our next section, which is quick fun. So this is like a quick rapid fire.
Okay.
And you have to answer.
Interesting. Yeah, why not?
So, cash flow or profit, which one actually kills the developer when ignored?
Cash flow.
Clean books or aggressive tax planning, which one would you choose?
Clean books.
One habit that instantly tells you a developer will succeed in long term.
His planning ability.
One financial red flag that immediately makes you uncomfortable.
One
Financial red flag.
over leveraging.
Okay. Cash flow problems or compliance issue, which scares you more?
Both.
But if you had to choose one,
If cash flow is in place, you can do your compliances.
one mistake you wish every first-time home buyer would avoid.
I have done this to save taxes.
Books clean but business messy, or business clean but books messy?
Business clean.
But books messy.
See, books can be corrected if your business is clean, because
fundamentally,
the mess has happened because of misunderstanding. When your business is messy and books are clean, that is a cooked up story.
one document developers consistently underestimate the importance of.
One
Document or compliance which developers consistently underestimate the importance of.
your basic JV documents and all.
Oh,
That actually changes the whole future way of your accounting and everything.
the most dangerous sentence a developer has ever said to you or an auditor.
The most dangerous sentence. I'll have to think a bit. What is the most dangerous sentence that a
मुझे टैक्स
developer?
बचा के दे दो.
मुझे टैक्स बचा के दे दो नहीं, ये कई बार तो मतलब कभी ऐसा भी बोलते हैं कि हमको टैक्स भरना ही नहीं है. There was a client who bought a land, sold it and bought another land. So I said, ये जो बेचा उसका पैसा, बोला दूसरा खरीदा ना, बोला लेकिन इसका प्रॉफिट हुआ. लैंड के सामने लैंड खरीदा ना, अभी पैसा कहाँ है टैक्स भरने को, इसमें कोई टैक्स नहीं लगता है.
And if you weren't a CA, what profession do you think you would be in?
If I was not a CA, I would love to be in some sports.
So definitely some sportsman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some game, some sports.
Well, that concludes our podcast here today. I learned a lot about financial planning and tax auditing, GST, and so much more. And I really hope that our audience of home buyers and developers would also benefit from the same. Thank you so much again, sir.
Thank you for calling me, and I hope I've been able to share whatever I thought could be shared effectively, and I hope your audience benefits out of the discussion that we had today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.